Well, guys, after the mixed reception and the criticism the season's been getting, we end the season with what I think might have just been Oliver's most triumphant hour yet. Hey guys, coming over the season finale of Arrow, Season 4, Episode 23, Schism, and I was definitely looking forward to this finale. I mean, yes, I do think that, I didn't really know this finale was going to be, especially because of what happened last year. You guys know I enjoyed Season 3 until the last 3 episodes, and then the finale was really unsatisfying, and I really did not like it at all, and in fact, I wasn't really looking forward on coming back to the show, but Season 4 for me, that's why it's been a lot better for me, because it's been more or less of what I wanted the show to be. Now, let me just say, I know a lot of people are going to hate me. I love this finale. I thought this was a really great finale. I thought there was some really great stuff here, mainly because I was very surprised with how big this finale got. How, not really, because it wasn't at all a brutal finale. I mean, they made it seem like, to me, this brutal, sad finale, and to me, it was more of a triumphant finale. It might just be Oliver's most triumphant hour yet, honestly, after this episode, and like I said in my intro, I think it might be Oliver's most triumphant hour yet. I think that's really great. But let's just get into this episode because there actually is a lot of stuff to talk about that I particularly really enjoyed. And I'm going to get into why I enjoyed that stuff, why I actually, enjoyed the season overall, why I didn't absolutely hate the season like everyone else did. But let's just get into it. We see Darhk right away. Remember last week, Darhk came in with, Felicity, Donna, and Curtis. He said that, I have a plan for you. And Darhk sends Curtis flying across the room and then pulls Donna to him. He says that he's going to destroy the world anyway, and Felicity can choose between his killing Donna painfully or her dying instantly in nuclear fire. And before Felicity can respond, Green Arrow and Spartan come in through the windows and open fire, and right away I thought that was awesome. And this episode focuses mainly on the plot, which I really did love. Darhk easily stops the first arrow, says he's powered by the deaths of millions of souls, and ghosts come in, open fire. The two heroes take cover and fire back, and it really was all honestly epic to see just them firing, taking down all these ghosts and things like that. Darhk heads for Felicity and Donna, and Green Arrow leaps down, attacks Darhk. I love the line that Darhk had. I thought that was pretty funny. I like Dark's quips, definitely. I think that's something that's made him a very good villain, is that while he remains very dark, he has those great quips to him as well as a villain does. He paralyzes him, and he actually does paralyze him, and Speedy arrives with Nora and says that she'll kill the girl if Darhk doesn't release Green Arrow. He does. He grabs Nora, tosses a flashback grenade, and Darhk escapes in the confusion, and Felicity realizes that he took the laptop with the Rubicon code on it, and the team then takes the injured and unconscious Curtis to the bunker and applies first aid. Felicity goes to her station to stop Rubicon, and Thea wonders if Curtis is going to be okay, because they don't really know if he's going to be okay. He's obviously very badly hurt. The flashbacks this episode weren't bad. I thought the flashbacks were actually pretty good as well. We see Raider shoots Oliver in the kneecap, warns Tayana that she can't control the power without the runes like he has, and the plane flies off. Oliver tells her that it's all over, but Raider realizes that not all the slaves are aboard. He destroys the plane with a magical gesture, sucks in the life force, and Tayana charges at him, so Raider now has these magical powers. I still don't fully know what's going on here, but at least this storyline ends in this episode, because again, I don't know what the hell is going on in these flashbacks. But Oliver then tells Felicity that Curse is stable and they'll have to wait. She wonders why Darhk's magic worked on Oliver, and Oliver explains has grown too powerful, and that's what's going on, that Darhk's magic, he's so powerful that it works on anyone, and Felicity's hope was enough to counter the magic before, but now her hope is gone, and she tells Oliver that Darhk hasn't launched the missiles because Cooper is still trying to hack her failsafes, and however, with Rubicon offline, there's nothing for her to hack, and as she tries to access the laptop GPSs, Lila comes in and tells Diggle that Sarah is safe in Coast City, and she wonders why Darhk is going ahead with his plan, and Oliver explains that Anarchy killed Rouvet, and Oliver figures that Darhk doesn't care, that Nora will die as long as he has nothing to look for, because of course Nora is his daughter, and the fact that she's gonna die. But basically, Felicity tracks the laptop of a downtown abandoned office building, and the team heads out, and basically Green Arrow, Speedy, and Spartan enter the building, but there's no one there. They find the GPS tracker on a table, the lights come up to reveal the command center, and the missile launches. 15,000 missiles are in the air, and they'll hit it in 2 hours or less, and the trio returns to the bunker, and Felicity reports that she's locked out. There's an ICBM heading straight for Star City, so they only have 45 minutes, which luckily this episode is pretty much that length. It's actually shorter than that, but they only have 45 minutes, and you do feel that, you know, thrill here. You feel like, holy shit, these characters could actually die. I mean, I honestly was kind of freaking out. Why? Mainly because of the Flash is really why I was freaking out. The fact that the Flash changed so much and things like that. I honestly thought this grenade was going to wipe out most of, if not all the cast, because what happened to the Flash, and then the Flash would, you know, that whole thing would come in and change things, which, that's the one thing I will say about this episode, that they didn't really change anything with the Flashpoint paradox, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't affect Star City, I'm not really sure. We'll have to see what happens with that. Maybe this episode takes place before that, I don't really know. The Flash and Arrow never really in the same time. There's rarely when they follow directly in the same week. Usually it's Arrow is like a week before, so maybe that's why, because it seems like wherever Arrow is, it's like a week before the events of what happened on the Flash, so I'm thinking that's really what's going on. Is I don't really know. We'll have to see what happens with that. So, again, I don't really have an answer for that. Again, I can't even tell you, like, what's going to happen in The Flash. I honestly have no idea, and I don't know what's going to happen in Arrow next season either, but Raider and Tayana then fight. Oliver tries to stop Raider. The mercenary throws him back, tries to drain the life force from Tayana, but then stares in shock. Oliver tosses a knife into his back, and Tayana says she's okay, but wavers, and we see Lance arrives at the bunker. Felicity gives him the location, the safest place to survive a nuclear missile within 100 miles, and I love what she says. She wants Lance to take Donna there. He agrees, and I think it's a good development for Lance this episode, because like I said, Lance really doesn't feel like they know what to do with him. I like that they make the decision they do with him at the end of this episode, because I feel it's the right way to go. So Diggle and Lila call Sarah. They say their goodbyes because they don't know if they're going to see her again. And once they hang up, Lila says that Argus is a chopper ready to take them to Star City so that they can all die together. And basically, they are willing to die because they don't really know if they'll be able to take down Darhk. He kind of seems unstoppable at this point. And Diggle admits that he's at fresh out of hope. And Lila assures him that his killing Andy was self-defense. And Oliver discovers that an Argus assault team is heading into City Hall to cut off Darhk's power. And Oliver says that he's already done that. Darhk will decimate the team, and Oliver says that Lila should pull them back, and that all that's going to do is wipe out the team. It's not going to do much of anything. You know, Darhk is so powerful that he could take out an entire team, and he figures that Cooper is in a secure location and warns that her team will die, but Lila says that it's her first call, and he does not get to make that call, which I thought was cool that Lila actually said, no, you don't get to make that call. So in the next chamber, beneath City Hall, Darhk tells Nora that she'll only be there a little longer once she says that she misses Rouvet. Darhk says he does too, but they'll see her soon. The Argus team comes in, Darhk stands to face them, and again, you get that side that Darhk really does have a lot of vengeance for what happened to Rouvet, and he's kind of lost the will to live a little bit, but I kind of like seeing that. While Darhk is, you know, still very menacing, he's kind of lost a lot of hope, and he's very hopeless as well, because his wife just died. He himself doesn't really have a will to live, you know. Even though his daughter is alive and well, he's even okay with killing her, which again is really sick and disgusting. But basically, at the bunker, the team listens as Darhk slaughters the Argus agents. Felicity gets through Cooper's firewall, and basically, just as Ghost break in and open fire, the team takes cover and fires back, and Oliver gets to his arrow while Thea and Diggle fight the Ghost hand-to-hand. And when Diggle draws on one of the Ghosts, he imagines that it's Andy, and the Ghost prepares to shoot him, and Lila kills the man. I like that Diggle is seeing Andy, because he knows that Andy's the man that betrayed him and has that inner rage within him, but he's also feeling a lot of regret for killing Andy. Why? Because it was his brother, obviously. This was his brother that he really wanted to help, and he feels that he really, you know, basically set his downfall, and he's the reason, of course, for Laurel, things like that. So Malcolm arrives, takes out the last of Thea's opponents, while Felicity knocks the last Ghost out. And I will say one thing, Malcolm has felt very out of place this season. He has. I feel like a lot of what they've done with him, it hasn't really worked in the way it should, because it seemed like Malcolm was on Darhk's side last week, and all of a sudden he's not on his side, so I can't really tell what they're trying to do with Malcolm, and I think moving forward, they need to not focus on Malcolm, really, next season. Hopefully they don't, but I don't think they are. We'll have to see what happens with that. So 5 years ago, Tayana's eyes glow yellow, and she tosses Oliver away, then starts choking her. She says that Oliver killed her brother, and it's darkness, and Oliver admits that he is, and he tells Tayana that she doesn't have to be, and she falls back, and Tayana says that she can find the darkness burning through her mind, and says that the only way to stop it is for Oliver to kill her, which he does not want to do, but that might be the only thing to do, is for him to kill her, and Basically, as the news reports, the citizens panicking, Felicity confirms they only have about 27 minutes, and Felicity figures that there's nothing they can do, and points that Oliver has as well. And Oliver admits that he thought he'd be the one to unite the city, and this is this great scene, because think of how Oliver came into this season. He had no hope, really. He kind of just was enjoying his life. You know, he really didn't want to be the Green Arrow anymore. He just felt that it really wasn't his purpose, and that really he wasn't the one to unite the city, that he really was just someone that, there are other people that do it. You know, Diggle's still out there, people like that kind of was his attitude, that there were other people out there, and he was enjoying his life with Felicity. But then he got pulled back in, and he realized why he wanted to do this, and he missed it. He thought he'd be the one to unite the city, and it was the same arrogance that made him thought that he could become Green Arrow without descending into darkness. And he points out that they decided to come back to Star City, and he tried to do things differently. But they didn't really do things differently. I mean, really, think about it, they didn't really do anything that differently. You know, he had more of a team, but other than that, he didn't really do much of anything. And now he's wondering if Laurel would still be alive if he hadn't made that decision. And Curtis gets up, says that he and Paul were ready to leave the city until Green Arrow gave them hope. He wonders why Green Arrow can't do the same thing now, and it really does show the direction that Curtis is headed. I like that Curtis really has become a bigger part of this team. We know that Curtis, obviously, he's now going to be a series regular next season, and he wonders why Green Arrow can't do the same thing now, because he has all this hope. Why can't he just unite the city? And we get this incredible scene with Oliver, which really feels like this is the character that we know Oliver Queen as. I mean, I'm not saying that we haven't seen Oliver Queen this season. Definitely, we have seen Oliver Queen, but these last few episodes, he's been very down himself because what's happened with Laurel, he's kind of lost a lot of hope, and here's really where he's gaining that hope back, and I love the way this was done. The people panic in the street. Oliver fights his way to the top of the taxi cab, calls on everyone to listen because literally everyone is just panicking. And I love that Oliver just has this power here. He says that he understands that they're feeling hopeless, but he knows that they've pulled through before in tough times. Oliver says that somehow they will survive the attack as well. And the team watches a broadcast of Oliver's speech. He said that Star City is their home. Lance drives Donna out of the city to listen to Oliver on the radio. Oliver says they will cling to each other for strength, and if they do that, no matter what happens, they will stand united. The missiles arrive overhead. Felicity and Curtis realize that they can disarm if they have a line of sight, and they go to the roof. Curtis aims their camera at the missile while Felicity tries to hack the missile. The missile heads directly for them. Felicity manages to send it flying away, and in the street, Oliver and the others watch the missile streaks away out of sight, and then cheer. And basically, I love that scene that Oliver, he was able to unite everyone, get everyone on his side. I thought that was awesome. You know, the missile does arrive overhead, and basically what's going to happen there. I thought that was an incredible scene, and you really do feel that Oliver feels like he really does have this empowerment, that he really does have this leadership quality back here, and, you know, he doesn't really know if this is going to work, but he just wants to try. And back at the bunker, Felicity warns that there are thousands more to go, and Lila sends the line of sight to hack everyone she can, basically because she doesn't know how they're going to stop this, but basically, literally anyone she can, she's going to try to stop this missile. And they figure that they need to find Cooper. Remember, they need to stop 15,000 missiles, and basically they shut him down. Felicity and Curtis gained access to his computer when they disarmed the missiles, have learned that he's in a warehouse. Oliver arrives and tells Malcolm and Thea to back up Curtis and Felicity while they deal with Cooper, and meanwhile, he'll go to City Hall to deal with Darhk. Diggle offers to go with him, and Oliver says that he needs to back up the city in case it goes bad, because he is the one that really needs to unite everyone. That is really his duty. And we see 5 years ago, Tanya begs Oliver to kill him, but he refuses at first. She continues and reminds him of his promise to look after her parents. Oliver says that he won't. He then hugs Tayana, breaks her neck, and they accuse Oliver of killing Tayana, which he did, but he was told to kill Tayana. So that I thought was honestly really annoying. The fact that slaves are arriving and they're like, why do you have to kill her? She literally said to kill her. Oliver could have just said that. He doesn't say that. I don't know why he didn't say that, but, you know, he should have. So Diggle prepares his guns. Lila points out that he froze when the ghost attacked. She wants the truth if it's the end of the world, and Diggle admits that it's Andy. He tells his wife that he killed Andy in cold blood. Lila assures him that he did what he had to do. And of course, Lila's not upset. She understood totally why he had to do this. However, Diggle doesn't believe it. You know, he feels that she's really not okay with this, and that she's really just saying that because that's what he wants her, you know, that's what he wants to hear. And Green Arrow enters the Nexus chamber, and Darhk tells Nora that the hero came there to die. He blasts Green Arrow up into the street. The rest of the team break into the warehouse, fight their way past the ghost, and I love that scene with Darhk and Green Arrow. It honestly felt very earned, and it really was just awesome the way this was done. The rest of the team break into the warehouse. They fight their way past the ghost. Speedy rescues Malcolm, but even she isn't sure if he was aiming at him or his opponent. You know, she really doesn't know if she can trust him because, he's really been a flip-flopper this season. He's been on their side, and he's not on their side. He's been on their side, not on their side. That's honestly kind of pissed me off, and I really hope they're trying to figure out what to do with him, but again, it doesn't really seem like they have a clear direction for Malcolm, which is a kind of a problem. So this scene, let me talk about the scene between Dark and Green Arrow, because I want to compare that to last year's season with Arrow and Roz. Now, here was my main problem with Arrow and Roz last season. Ra's al Ghul was built up as a really cool villain. There were a lot of things they could have done with him. I would have really enjoyed that, and the way that they handled all that, I think that, I would have really enjoyed what they could have done with him, but it was literally a 5-minute fighting sequence. It really wasn't much of anything. The way that Oliver was so easy for him to kill, it was so easy for him to bring down Roz, and things like that, and things like the way he was just, he didn't have to kill him, but he did actually die. I mean, just the way that was all done, I thought was really stupid. I was not a fan of that at all, and that was something I thought was really dumb. I really did not enjoy that, and the way that that all turned out, I really was not a fan of, and basically, Roz, that was a really dumb death. It really just felt very unearned. It felt very rushed. This really felt epic. It really did. It felt like this is the fight we've been waiting for. It felt like that was everything we should have gotten last year was in this fight. I loved everything about it because it really showed everyone's weak points. It showed why Dark wanted to do this. You got really everything from why Dark wanted to do this, from Dark's, weaknesses to Green Arrow's weaknesses. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff about this scene. Dark tells Green Arrow that the missiles will strike even if the hero could stop him. He's going to spare everyone the pain of living after their loved ones die, and a crowd gathers, tells Dark to get out, and I was surprised by the scope of this fight. I mean, there's literally a huge mob for both sides, and Dark laughs and points out that he had just seen them tearing the city apart. He roars, driving them back, and tells Green Arrow that humanity is feckless, and he wanted to cleanse it out of a millennia of rots. And honestly, I do get what Dark is saying. He feels that the entire city is just in, enormous chaos, and that's the only way to destroy it. They basically need to blow up the city to remodel it, and he tells Green Arrow that humanity is feckless, and Green Arrow gets upset that he won't. Dark says Astro will stop him. The hero says that it won't be just him. The people move forward. Green Arrow finds an arrow, and this time Dark is unable to stop it. Somehow his magic is just stopped. Now, that's the one thing here. They didn't really explain how his magic stopped, but I thought it was really cool the way it was done. Dark tries to summon his magic, but nothing happens. He says he doesn't need magic, and because he's actually a member of the League of Assassins, apparently he attacks Green Arrow as the people cheer. Felicity and the others find Cooper at his computer. He's been shot. Cooper explains that Dark is moving the bullet closer and closer to his spine. To stop Dark, he agreed to blow up the world. Felicity sends the others out and tells Cooper that he's powerful enough to pull himself away from the keyboard, and Cooper says that Dark will know if he stops Rubicon and kill him, and Felicity says that he can still do the right thing and be the man that she loved. She reminds him that when they were hackers, they wanted to save the world, and now it's Cooper's chance, and at the moment, he shoves the keyboard to Rubicon, and Dark senses what Cooper is doing, and he kills him, and Cooper screams in pain and dies. Felicity goes to work. You don't really care that Cooper died. Like, they kind of made us care, but I didn't really care. So Green Arrow renews his attack. Dark takes him down. Spartan and Lila arrive. Dark says that he also brought friends, and his ghosts charge out. Literally, there's like 20 million ghosts, and they're attacking. The crowd charges at them. The two forces meet in the street. It's literally like Game of Thrones right now. It was so cool. The others arrive. Dark says that Rubicon is safeguards. She says that she can't disarm the warheads. Curtis tells her to send the missiles into space or they will explode harmlessly. He and Felicity invert the mission's horizons. Dark grabs Green Arrow's bow, picks up an arrow, literally starts shooting the hero in the shoulder, which is crazy. The way that Dark just had this power over Green Arrow, even without magic, and how he was using his arrow, Green Arrow's arrows, as a weapon, I thought was so cool. I've never really seen a villain do that before, is using their, Green Arrow's own arrows as a weapon against them. And Lance arrives, he helps Green Arrow up, says that Dawn is safe, but he had to come back and stand with his city. Green Arrow tells him to take down the ghosts and keep the people safe, and while he goes after Dark, he heads through the crowd to Dark, who attacks him. They continue punching each other until Dark goes down. Green Arrow picks up an arrow, and Dark says that they both know he can't do it, and I love this scene here, because you're really thinking, is he actually going to go through with this? Is he actually finally going to, fulfill, is he going to fulfill his promise, or is he actually going to finally break it? And he says that he had a chance with Slade, and that he thought that he could redeem Slade, and that he thought that he could see some good in Slade, and that Slade, he thought that, wasn't all that bad, but this time he doesn't, and with that, he rams the arrow into Dark's chest. He's finally killed. Green Arrow is back to killing people. He's now killed Dark, and Dark is dead, and it just felt so satisfying. After we've had 2 seasons now of Arrow being like, I don't want to kill, I don't kill, that's not what I do, now he kills, and I love that, because that's Arrow from season 1, and that's the thing that people have been complaining about, is that Oliver doesn't kill, and he actually killed here, and I thought it was very satisfying. I love the way that was done, and I don't really think it could have done that better. I loved everything about that fight scene. I'm definitely going to miss Neil McDonough. I still think that Damien Darhk's one of the best villains we've had on this show, and I think in the DC TV universe as well, I think he's definitely one of the best. He was cunning, he was funny, he was charismatic, he had a really strong motivation, and also this incredible menace to him as well. Neil McDonough in general, such a great actor. Going to be sad to see him go, but I'm looking forward to seeing really where they're going to go for season 5. But the next morning in the bunker, Lance and basically now Darhk is dead. Now, how they were able to disarm all the bombs, I think they were just able to do that. I guess Felicity and everything, we don't really know how that all turned out. But anyway, the rest of this episode is pretty much seeing where we head for season 5. You know, what happens next. We see the next morning in the bunker, Lance says that he and Donna are going to leave for town for a while. IAB lifted his suspension, but he didn't feel anything when they told him. And I love that. I'm like, yes, good, Lance is leaving. Because honestly, I just don't see the part that Lance plays in the show anymore. And he thanks Oliver for getting him some closure, and he leaves, and basically, you know, he's gonna leave. You know, basically, he's decided to leave town. I think it's a good direction for his character, because, like I said, I just don't really know what role or how Darhk will play a role here anymore. He doesn't feel like he needs to be here. It feels like after Laurel, he needs to take some time away, and he thinks, oh, we're getting some closure, and he leaves. Thea says that she needs to take some time off as well, and I like the reason why Thea wanted to leave. It wasn't just because of the fact that, oh, I just randomly want to leave. It's the fact that she feels this darkness inside of her is just too much, and the fact that she almost killed Darhk's daughter, even though it was Darhk's daughter, it was still a child, and she feels she needs to leave. She needs to realize if she's daddy's daughter or not, if, you know, father's daughter or not, and she figures that Laurel would tell her to go out before she lost too much of herself. Oliver assures her it's okay. I know some people are going to be pissed that Thea left, but I feel like, again, it made sense why she had to leave. You know, all season she's had this darkness inside her, and she's known this, and I like she's finally trying to do something about it. And Felicity points out it's just the original 3 members now and walks away. And Diggle tells, and I love Felicity's little line there of being like, it's the three of us back together. It's the way she had that lively side to her. That's the Felicity that we love. And I'll talk about Felicity as well, and I think how I don't think she's as bad as everyone's been saying. I definitely do want to get into that, because I do have a lot to say about this season overall, because I think a lot of people are blowing things out of proportion. Diggle tells Oliver that he gave Lila the truth about Andy, and she understood. However, he doesn't, and he never will, and Diggle is going to take some time away from the team and the city to figure out where he went off track, because he knows he went too far, and he doesn't know where he went too far. And Oliver points out that Diggle has always been the one who kept him in line, and think about it, Oliver's never worked without Diggle, and Diggle says that recently it's been the other way around. And I get what he's saying. I mean, think about Diggle killing Andy. He was ready to just go out and kill every member of Hive. Oliver stopped him from doing that, and that never really was like that. Diggle was always the one to keep Oliver back, and Oliver really was the one to hold Diggle back, but it was for a good reason. Obviously, Diggle could have died. The 2 men shake, Diggle leave, and again, I feel like it makes sense why Diggle has to leave. You know, he's done so many things. It will be sad, obviously, not to see Diggle on the show as much. David Ramsey's such a good actor, but he's had a lot to do this season. You can't say that this felt unearned. I feel like this really did make sense that he has to leave, and basically, it seems like we're kind of starting from scratch, which we'll get into. We then go back to 5 years ago, which we get a really more interesting set of flashbacks, I think, for next season, if we're going where I think we're going. Oliver tells the slaves that Tyanna begged him to kill her. He insists the idol is darkness, and Tyanna was succumbing to it. And after a moment, the slaves lower their guns. Oliver tells them that there's another way off the island. Oliver then radios Amanda, buries Tyanna next to her father. Amanda arrives and is satisfied that he broke up Raider's operation and saved the slaves. Oliver says that he's still filled with darkness, and Amanda says, which it's cool to see Waller here, of course, when Waller was killed off. Waller says the mission was intended to show him that sometimes killing is the only path to justice, and Waller's people have the idol transported to the slob, and she gives Oliver his trunk. She says that their business is concluded, but notes that someone with his talents could be useful in hotspots across the world. Oliver says that he has a promise to keep. Where we're going in flashbacks next year, I don't know. Apparently next season is their last flashback season, thank God, but the flashbacks have not had the impact. I did like in this episode, they basically did follow what was going on here. The fact that basically Oliver needed to find a way to not succumb to darkness. He needed to kill someone. You know, he needed to find a way to not succumb to that darkness, and how he had to kill someone who did succumb to darkness. You know, he didn't really want to have to kill Tyanna, but just like Tyanna, he didn't really want to have to kill Darhk either. The problem is, that's not who Oliver was 5 years ago. I mean, Oliver was much more of a savage killer, and I feel like they've really ruined him in that part. The flashbacks have really ruined a lot of that, but I haven't really focused on the flashbacks because I don't really count that as a part of the episode. I count that as just flashbacks that are just here that don't need to be here, and I really hope next season they do something better with them because they've just been really boring. I mean, the flashbacks, I tune out. I fall asleep. I don't give a shit what's going on there. I really don't, and I still don't really care. I like that we did see Waller back, and we are done with this whole Tiana bullshit, because I really was never into it at all. But it hasn't really changed much of anything. I just don't really care about the flashbacks, and unless they do something, like, really life-changing with them, I'm still not going to care about them next season. So, Oliver then goes to Laurel's grave, says that he knows his killing Darhk isn't what she would have wanted, and Felicity comes up, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Felicity and Oliver, they're having a moment. Look, they're really great friends. I've said before, Oliver and Felicity are really good friends, and I think this scene really does show how great of friends they really are. Felicity comes up, Oliver tells her that he's not okay, he wonders if Diggle and Thea were infected by his darkness, and Felicity points out that Oliver was able to save the city by defeating Darhk, and the same man who killed Darhk in cold blood gave the city its hope back, because, you know, of course he did kill Darhk, but he also gave the city its hope, and remember, what he was told to do is find a balance between darkness and light. That's how he does that. He kills when he needs to, but he doesn't always kill, but he's also able to be that hero that the city always wanted to be, and that is who the Green Arrow really is a hero, and that's what Oliver wanted. He didn't want to be he didn't want to be this immoral, tyrant. He didn't want to be a tyrannical figure. He wanted to be an anti-hero. He wanted to be a hero, and that's exactly who he is now. Everyone sees him as a hero, and she says that Oliver is feeling a schism because his two sides are at war with each other, and I love the way that was done, that basically, he's not really understanding the difference between dark and light. It's not really something he's used to, but he's going to have to get used to it, and we see Thomas Kemp, the chair of the city council, calls him in, points out that Oliver got 44% of the vote as a write-in for candidate as mayor, points out that Oliver looks conflicted. Oliver says that he is, but he's not ready for it. They then meet with the press. Kemp swears Oliver in as interim mayor, and Oliver's now the mayor. We see Oliver's now the mayor, which I think is really interesting. It's an interesting direction for his character, but it makes sense. Oliver really won this election. Rouvet, of course, was the mayor, but now that Rouvet's out, Oliver's in, and he's the mayor now, so I think that's pretty cool. We then see Lance and Donna drive out of Star City, and they're leaving. In her apartment, Thea sits alone, really conflicted as to what she wants to do. We don't really know where Thea's going, if she's going to go with Malcolm, if she's going to go on her own. Thea's definitely not off the show. We're going to see her again next season. Diggle dons his military uniform, looks at a photo from his wedding, and he is going back to the military, which I think is interesting that all out of everything, Diggle's going back to the military, then puts into his duffel bag, says goodbye to Lila and Sarah. I don't think this is forever. I think Diggle just needs to take some time off. I do think he needs to take some time off. Why the fuck he's going to the military, I don't know, because he could get PTSD or something, but I don't know, we'll have to see what happens there, why he wants to go to the military. I mean, I guess Diggle thinks that maybe he's kind of a killer, and that maybe he needs to kill, I'm not really sure, but definitely very interesting stuff there. But then we get to the end of this episode, Oliver goes to the bunker, he looks at the suits of his team, Felicity comes in, she assures him that she's not going anywhere, basically kind of starting off from scratch, where the season basically started with Oliver and Felicity, and that's where this episode ends. And okay, let's talk about the season overall, because no, this episode didn't really give us a direction of where Season 5 is headed, but I like that. We don't need a direct, events that this is where Season 5 is going. But it also didn't do what Season 3 did, and that this did not feel like a series finale. Last year's finale felt like a series finale. It felt like the show couldn't go on anymore, and this episode felt like it could. It felt like there actually could be some stuff they do with it, and especially because I am hearing that the villain next season is very different and not as well known as Damien Darhk or as Ra's al Ghul. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Let's talk about the season overall, because I know a lot of people have been complaining about the season. I've actually really enjoyed the season. I'll tell you guys why, because I feel like the season's had a very good balance. It's been fun when it needs to be fun, but it's also been dark when it needs to be dark. And the whole Felicity and Oliver situation, I don't understand the hatred that Felicity gets. Yes, Felicity can be annoying at times. I do think that there were a lot of things last season that she was in the wrong about. This season, though, I felt like everything that she was upset about was, understandable. She would be upset with Oliver. Imagine if you kept this secret and you told everyone else about this whole situation with your kid, and that, you have a kid and everything, and the person you're with, you don't tell them, and you tell someone like, Lance over someone like Felicity, is absurd that he never told her. And, I mean, I can totally understand why she's upset about that. I am not all upset they broke up after that, and honestly, I think it's a good thing that these two broke up, because I do think eventually they are going to come back together. They were fighting a lot. They couldn't really be together at the time. Things were really complicated because because of that, and I feel like that, to me, I was never upset with Felicity. I do like Felicity's character. Is there an overabundance of her? Yeah, I will admit that. There has been a bit too much of her this season. I feel like they haven't focused on much of the other characters, but they also did have some really good stuff with Diggle. They had, I think, some really good stuff, I thought they had some really good stuff with Diggle. I thought they did some really good stuff with, Lance this season. I thought, it was a really nice send-off for Laurel. Thea had some great stuff. So, yeah, I thought overall this wasn't a bad season. I don't know what everyone's problem is, honestly. I think that this season's a lot better than people are saying. I don't see the hatred that people have. I honestly just don't. Maybe it's just me, but I've really enjoyed this season. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's not been bad. I think it's been pretty good, actually. And yes, it hasn't been perfect, definitely. I don't think there's going to be a perfect season. Season 2, it is hard to kind of beat Season 2. I do think the season is right there with Season 2. It definitely is better than Season 3. Season 3 was just, there were a lot of convoluted stuff. And this season, I thought, did stay pretty basic overall. You had Dark, things like that. There was a lot of stuff in the first. I will admit the first half I do think was a bit better than the second half. Definitely, I will admit that. But overall, guys, I overall really did enjoy the season. I know we're getting Roy back next season. I really do feel like we're going to kind of start from scratch, and they are going to kind of try to figure things out, because I know even Stephen Amell said he wants to go back to, like, basic villains and not just this overabundance of crazy stuff going on, because, yeah, this was a very chaotic finale and things like that. Also, how is Flash going to affect this? Because we know, of course, Flashpoint Paradox would happen last night. How is that going to affect the events of Arrow? I'm not really sure. Overall, guys, how much you guys saw this finale? What'd you think of this season in general? I know I'm going to get a lot of hatred, but I did not dislike the season. Now, this was actually an okay season. I thought there was some really good stuff here. I think there was a lot of stuff that people are thinking, oh, there was too much of this, so therefore it's bad, and I don't really see it that way. But I will see you guys next year, which will be for the season premiere of Wayward Pines, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I don't know if it's going to be good. I've heard it's kind of shitty. I've heard some people say it's good. I don't really know. I'm going to go into my own opinion, but I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.